Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and they just graded the road next to the canal this morning as this video was being shot, and so I thought it's a good opportunity to test out how smooth it is because it was full of ruts from all the rain we had, and I wanted to go over to the construction area next to across the field from us and get some close-up looks at some of the things that I saw they were doing from the air. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go on over there and try out the improved road that they've got. And also over alongside that construction zone, they've redone that road, which you'll see when we get there. It used to be full of holes and stuff. So anyway, while we're going, I'll tell you some stories while we go. Well, let's see. I'm still telling stories of when I went to California when I was 19 at the end of my first year of college, and so that would have been my freshman year. And in the last video, I pointed out that my parents had basically disowned me for buying a motorcycle. And that it wasn't like they didn't want me around anymore. It's just they said, you're on your own. And so then I had to figure out how to pay my own way to college. And as it worked out, it was okay. And it was good for me. So anyway, I'm wasting a bunch of time. I want to tell this story before we get too far along. So when I got down there, the job I had was $1.50 an hour, and that's more money than I'd ever made. And so it was burning a hole in my pocket. So I had been playing a ukulele that my sister gave me, and then another guy gave me a baritone ukulele, and so I wanted to get a guitar. So that's where I bought my first 4-string guitar, was during that summer, and so I had a lot of fun playing that. And also, it was kind of funny because, as I've said in previous videos, I could fly down from the Seattle area down to California, to the Sacramento area. To the San Francisco area for just paying the tax on the plane ticket because my dad worked for United Airlines. And so this one time I went home for a break. I could go home for the weekend, like when they had their Seafair races and stuff. And this one time I got on, and I was the only one in first class. And of course, you buy a first class ticket if all you have to do is pay. And so I had 2 stewardesses that didn't have anything to do but visit with me. And I played my guitar for them, and we just had a nice, fun time. So that was kind of a strange thing. And speaking of girls, when I was down there, my cousin Chester was the guy I was working with, but he had a sister, and that would be my cousin Nancy, and she was married, and she and her husband knew there was a girl from up in Washington State visiting down in that area, and they knew who it was, and so they decided they'd get the 2 of us together and set up a date. So here we're coming to that field, and you can see that they've been plowing it up with that road grader, which we'll see further in the video here. And then there's water over there, and so you can see it on the ground. And I'll put a clip up so you can see what I was wondering what they were doing. And of course, they're sprinkling the field. And we'll stop up here and see it later here too. So anyway, they set me up with a date for this girl. And she was from Wenatchee, Washington, which is in the center of the state. I was from Pasco, Washington, I was from Seattle, Washington at that time, which was down in this up northwest corner of the state. So as it turned out, they took us to the Santa Cruz Amusement Park. I'd been to little amusement parks before, but I had never been to an amusement park like that one. It was huge, and there was so many things to do. Now, there you can't see the water spraying, but they're spraying water out of. You can actually see it if you don't look up in the sky. If you look at the ground way out there, you can see the sprinklers sprinkling the water. Anyway, so they took us there, and we had a great time, and she was a lot of fun, and we just enjoyed each other. And probably should have gone on more dates with her while I was down there. But anyway, this one date. So we on the way home from Santa Cruz up to the up to where my Aunt Gertrude lived, which was where I was staying, Palo Alto. Anyway, so on the way back, well, it was dark and we were in the back seat, and I had never had in my life, I've never had a girl who snuggled up like she was my mom and just snuggled up really close to me, and it was a very comforting ride home. Of course, you know me, I love Jesus, so I was trying to please him instead of my flesh, and so I never had anything to do with girls that was wrong. Now, they set me up with this other date with this girl that I don't know, she just lived down there, that my cousin Chester set me up with, and so I was going to take her to a drive-in movie, and so they lent me the car, and I went and I picked her up, and we were a little bit early, and she said, "Let's just go for a ride." I said, "Okay." So she told me how to get up, and all she wanted to do was pull over and park. So I was a big disappointment to her. But anyway, we enjoyed the movie. And that reminded me of another story which didn't have anything to do with being in California. By the way, that's where they get their water for this big pond that we're going to see up here. They pipe it all the way down the road and then over across the field, and like I showed in the video. So anyway, my cousin had set me up with a blind date for this girl when I was in Youth for Christ clubs and stuff, and so every Saturday night they had a big rally downtown Seattle, and if I was going to take a girl on a date, that's where we went. So my cousin, I set her up with a blind date with my buddy, and she set me up with a blind date with her girlfriend, and we went to Youth for Christ. Now afterwards we got hamburgers, and then as I was I had picked her up in the car, and as I was driving home, she said, "Turn left here, turn right here," and we came to a road that said dead end, and she said, "Turn here," and I said, "No, this is a dead end." She said, "That's all right, this is how I get there." So we got down to the dead end. There was a barricade, and there's that tractor that's been plowing the field. And as soon as I got to the barricade, she reached over, grabbed the keys, and pulled them out, and she dropped them down in her dress. And so, and she thought I was going to do something, you know. I just said to her, I said, "Well, we're not going anywhere until you give me those keys back." And the funny part is, it was funny watching her trying to get those keys back out of her dress. And I took her home and walked her up to the door and said, "Thanks for going on the date with me." And I'm sure I was a big disappointment to her. But anyway, one of those stories that you never forget. And up here you can see that black line on the left. That's that big black pipe that came out of the fire hydrant, and it goes clear across the field over to, if you can see it in the distance, you can see some stuff way over there. It looks like a kind of a pump thing or something. Well, that's where that pond is, and you can see the pond in the little inset I put here. So anyway, those are a couple of stories of me and girls in California. So thanks for. I'm gonna head home now. Thanks for riding with me, and thanks for watching my videos, and God bless.